trust my loan officer and I trusted the city, and that's maybe where I went wrong.
Tonight, a story you will see only on 9. It's about a woman who now has trouble getting to the house that she's owned for nearly 20 years. It's because it's located on a private street, right? And a new owner has different ideas about who can use that street and who can't.
Yeah, as complicated as her situation is, reporter Lucy May explains thousands of homeowners across the city could face a very similar problem here. And just like her, they might have no idea until it's too late.
Day Erica Riddick got this gold key, she felt like she had won the lottery.
And that day in City Hall, when my name was drawn for this house, it was so exciting.
She won the chance to buy her home for $1 back in 1999. It was part of a federal program Cincinnati used to oversee. But now her excitement is long gone.
I don't know how I feel about my house. Like, it's not really the house's fault, but you know, every day I come home and I'm reminded of this situation.
Riddick's address is on Vandalia Avenue in Northside. This Google Earth photo shows how residents parked along it. But she can't do that anymore. That area is privately owned, and the new owner argues it isn't even a street. Now, Riddick has to drive up this narrow easement, squeeze past this big tree, and tear up her yard to park next to her house.
All the residents on this block of Vandalia were told they had to either pay $30 per vehicle per month to park our cars or vacate using the street that I've been using since 2000.
MLS Homes owns the property, and Stephen Davis is the company's lawyer.
Simply calling something a street doesn't make it a street.
Davis says that narrow easement gives Riddick access to her home, and she shouldn't have the right to use the MLS Homes land instead.
She has access to her land. It's just a little bit more inconvenient than she would prefer. She would prefer using our land to access her property, but she has access to her property. She'd just rather not use it.
Back in 2016, Cincinnati City Councilman David Mann tried to help Riddick and her neighbors.
These are homes that for decades, maybe forever, have fronted on Vandalia, and the owners, when they bought the property, I think assumed that that was the way in which they had a guaranteed opportunity or ability to go to and from their houses.
8 members of council signed a motion urging the city administration to help residents maintain access to their homes. But former city manager Harry Black said the city couldn't help because the problem was a dispute between private parties.
And this gets us into the morass of property rules and laws, and the fact that a lot of the streets in the city of Cincinnati are not public ways.
The city, in fact, has hundreds of private streets.
A lot of new developments, especially if they're smaller, are on private roads.
Kelly Meyer is president of the Cincinnati Area Board of Realtors. He says that means home buyers need to be careful.
You have to understand, again, who owns it. And if you own part of it, what rights do you have in making decisions? Then who has access and how is that access granted? Is the access granted by a deed or easements or some sort of agreement?
There can also be costs involved. Meyer says realtors can help navigate all those complexities. But Riddick didn't have a realtor because of the federal program that helped her buy her house. She says she did everything else she could to protect herself.
I took 3 home buyer training classes, and and because of that, I did actually buy the homeowner title insurance policy. And so when all of this happened, I thought that I could use that to pay for legal bills, but that claim was denied.
Now Riddick feels abandoned by the very people who gave her that gold key.
I trust my loan officer and I trusted the city, and that's maybe where I went wrong.
Lucy May, 9 on your side.
As Lucy mentioned, there are hundreds of private streets in the city of Cincinnati alone. This map shows that they're spread really all over, from Saylor Park to Hartwell to Mount Washington. You can read more right now about this very complicated issue, the Northside issue and situation, and the risks and responsibilities of living on private streets right now in Lucy's digital story on WCPO.com.